Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Juan Londoño and today we are talking about tips on how to maximize the use of your hard case when you travel. Whether it's for photography or anything else, actually, you can use it for anything. But we're specifically talking about photography, so you're going to be seeing this case back here with lenses and cameras and all kinds of things like battery chargers and batteries and all kinds of things, filters and adapters and so forth. So we're going to talk about how to maximize your trip, little things that you can carry that make it safer for you and make it easier when carrying your gear. So let's get started. So these are some quick tips for when you are planning to use a hard case like this that has the compartments. You can also use it for the ones where you cut out the little, you take out the little foam squares, but in those you're basically making the precise space for the things you need, and there's nothing kind of wobbling around like you would have over here, right? That's a little different. For the ones that have these compartments, this advice is going to be very practical. So first of all, make sure that when you put something in here like a lens, if it's going to stick out above the height of these dividers, make sure it's not too tall because it's going to go into the cushion here and the case has to close, right? If the case is not closing, you don't want to force it because you're going to damage these lenses, right? Or anything that you put that's sticking above. Little things like this, right? Tip number 2. Little things like this that kind of fall in and disappear, right? This is another one. This is kind of small and there's a bunch of space here. You have a couple of options. You can either just fill this in with some, newspaper or whatever. What I normally do is I carry some extra bubble wrap from things that I get in the mail, and it helps to stick one of these little guys in here. Now, this lens hood I bought aftermarket, so it wasn't even on there, so it was a lot smaller even, right? But you can put this in bubble wrap, or you can wrap it with bubble wrap if you don't have a little case like this. It doesn't matter what you do here. But my point is, when you put this in here now, it's going to be a snug fit and it's not going to move around. When you close this, that lens isn't going to hop around, because if this lens is just sitting in there on its own like this, there's a distance between this cushion, lid and the lens, and this is going to bounce up and down in here and it's still going to get hurt, right? You don't want it doing that. So advice number 3, these cases, this is the Nanuk 935, and many of the others come with this as well. They come with these straps, right? You can take these straps and remove them, right? They're Velcro on the inside, and you can basically put them around things so that they don't bounce around. Now in this particular case, I'm not too concerned. This lens is a little taller, and when this case closes, it kind of pushes down into this foam. So I'm not worried here. But take this for example. I'll leave it here for now. Look at this camera for example, right? This camera, this is my Fujifilm GFX 100S. And by the way, don't tell Fuji that I put a Canon strap on this thing, and don't tell Canon that I have a Fuji attached to their strap. This was kind of a last minute thing because I had just bought a strap and I didn't get a chance to put it on. I didn't want to do the whole ordeal with the Fuji strap because it was still in a box upstairs. So anyway, when this camera sits in here, it kind of sits just a little lower. I don't want it bouncing around too much. So you can take the highest part of the camera, right, which is like over here where the flash goes, and I can just install one of these little guys and then install this over the top, and you can kind of zigzag it. It doesn't have to be straight across, whatever you want to do just to keep this camera from bouncing around, right, or anything else that you have. And that's going to be tip number 3. For tip number 4, basically Ziploc, right? Ziploc is a brand. Any zipper bag, doesn't have to be Ziploc, anything you have, right? Let me give you an example. So there's a bunch of stuff like this, batteries that you have laying around. Well, during the trip, I even bought batteries. I have these little boxes. This is something I bought that actually I received when I was traveling, so I kept the box in case something was wrong with it. But you can keep these little boxes, cut off the extra flaps and stuff, and they're great for putting a few things in there. Like if you have 3 or 4 batteries, you pop them in here and you just shove them into the slot, right? Another one that's fantastic is, so little boxes work really well. Here's another one, for example, right? Or you can just put a bunch of things in these Ziploc bags. There's a dual purpose to that. First of all, it keeps these things waterproof, right? Which is, this case has a rubber gasket all around it, and water's not supposed to get in, and it's probably not. This is fine. But when you take them out, you know, when you, if you open this in the rain or whatever, it helps if the stuff you have in here is additionally protected, right? So, and if you're going to pull it out of here and you're going to put it in your backpack, right, in your photography case that you're carrying with you, it helps them to be in these little plastic Ziplocs too. But what I like about this is you throw about 4 batteries in there and you throw them in one of these compartments, and that's it. If those are bouncing around in here, it's not as bad. Of course, you're going to pick a smaller compartment, not necessarily one this big, right? I would leave this bigger one for a lens or something, right? And you can adjust these, right? I took, for example, this divider here, I adjusted it and made it so that I would have a lot of room here, but this actually came in the middle and it was further out. These kind of are annoying to move around. You don't want to, I mean, I'll do it right here for the video's sake. So here you go. I just made the back one a little bigger and I made the front one a little smaller. So if I had 3 or 4 batteries in here, I would just shove them in here and they would be a nice fit. See, so that's another tip. Use these little Ziplocs when you can, and keep little boxes from stuff you get, and you can throw batteries in here. Sometimes the chargers fit in there, right? Now for this particular case, this compartment is empty. The camera I'm filming with, the Canon M6 Mark II, was in here and the mic was over here in case I wanted to do videos when I was traveling. I did use the camera for street photography, but I kept the mic attachment here in case I wanted to do some videos. But so this case was full, right? The 2 lenses for the Fuji, a bunch of little lenses for the Canon, plus the lens it has on it, which is a Pancake 22mm f2. So all these compartments were filled. One of the other tips I want to give you is bags, right? Extra plastic bags. There's a whole reason for having these. There are reasons that I'm not even aware of that I'm sure you're going to find on your own for having these little bags. They don't occupy almost any space. You can kind of even use them as fillers, right? When you have a lens. And by the way, the filler doesn't have to be on the top. If this is annoying, every time you open this, the wind's going to blow and these bags are going to be, at risk of flying away. What you do is you put the bag in the bottom, right? And you put the lens on top. So now you've created a little height. When this comes down, it's going to keep that lens from bouncing up and down. So the bag can be on the bottom, okay? That in itself is a good tip. But these bags are incredibly handy when you get to your destination. So my photography backpack travels in my suitcase and it's empty. What I do is I fill it with clothing, right? And then I put clothing around it, and that's how I fill the suitcase. When I get to my destination, I take the clothing out and I basically fill it with photography gear. And these plastic bags are fantastic to put in there. If it starts raining, I put my camera in one of these, my lenses, and then I throw them in my bag in case my bag isn't waterproof. Some of these bags are waterproof, but over time they start to leak. So you have to buy the spray and keep them sprayed. So that's another really great tip. Right now I have 2 of these. I have 3. I actually used one. But here's another one down here probably. So I keep all these little bags for stuff. They occupy 0 space and they're fantastic. If you want to watch the full video on this case, I have a couple of videos, and one is the unboxing and the review. The other one was putting these secure latches that have a key, because the case comes with latches that don't have keys. These are TSA approved keys, which means you can lock this. So let me show you how this works. You close it, right, like you already know. And when you lock, I'm only going to lock one to show you, right? And you disappear. If TSA needs to open this, they don't have to break your case open. They have a special key that opens all TSA approved locks, if I can get it open. And then what they do is they just open your thing and then close it up again when they're done, right? So if you want to install these, there's a video. Remove the ones that come with it and install these TSA approved latches which have a key. They come with a couple of keys and a lock. That's a great tip too. There's a video for that. I'll link it and I'll place it in the description as well. As you can see, I have bubble wrap everywhere. This is the viewfinder for the M6 Mark II, right? I keep that in a little bubble wrap. This is the original bubble wrap it came in. And I just wrap it around a few times and put it in there. So there's a lot of space in this bag. I mean, if you look at it this way, I have 2 huge lenses. I could fit a third one in here if I was carrying my little point and shoot, which is my Canon M6 Mark II. I typically like to carry it, except I just put it in here so I wouldn't have to worry about it during the security checks. But this will hold another big lens. So the 3 lenses I have for my Fuji GFX 100S. And then it'll hold a bunch of small lenses and other gear, battery chargers, batteries, all kinds of things, filters, cases with memory cards, right? Here are one of the chargers for the Fuji, and then the other charger I'm using right now. All kinds of filter cases and filter adapters, and this case just fits so much stuff. And the cool thing about this, it's a carry-on. It's spec-wise, it's a carry-on, so they can't give you a hard time. It fits right over the seats, and it fits perfectly, and it doesn't weigh much. It has the handle, and it has the extended handle, which we talk about in the video. It's going to be hard to pull out here, but so, right, all kinds of cool things. So there you have it. I hope this video was useful. It's just a bunch of tips on how to maximize the use. This is the first time for me traveling with this case. I went to New York City and was there for 5 days, and I had a great time with this case. Basically, it just took all my worries away. I traveled with it on the airplane. It was my only carry-on. I put it above the seat, and when I got to my destination, I took it down. I rolled it everywhere, and I put it on top of my suitcase because it's not very big. So I was able to just roll one thing in the airport. And when I got to my destination, which was my brother's place, I put the thing down. I took the gear out that I needed every day. I put it in my backpack, and I would go out for walks. If I was doing street photography, I had my Canon M6 and a bunch of little lenses. If I was doing more serious shooting, I had my tripod and my GFX 100S. And so everything fit back in here when I was ready to travel home. It's just a wonderful case, safe as heck, practically bulletproof. So I hope this was helpful. Use these tips to your advantage. If there's anything I missed, if there's anything you know of that you do when you travel, please let everybody know in the comments so we can all enjoy and learn from that. And I will see you guys soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day, remaining of your day. Please take care of yourselves, and until the next time, ciao for now.